everybody? It's your man James, Mr. Point Treasure, back again with some more video action for you. This is another clip bit from an old live stream. In this one, I'm talking about how the chickens have really come home to roost for many in the comic book industry, as all the failures and other craziness they've done has really come back to haunt them, and how they're paying the price for it. So again, I thought it was a very interesting one. It's kind of all the ones you've seen up to this point, kind of building to this. So I hope you get some interest out of this, because I certainly enjoy bringing it to you. And I want to say thank you for joining me today, and to make sure to drop a like down there if you like what you see here, and because it always helps out those algorithms. Also, be sure to drop any comments you got, because I always want to hear what the folks got to say. I want to hear what you got to say on these kind of topics. Also, be sure to subscribe if you haven't subscribed, so you don't miss any of the content that I'm putting out around here. And if you have subscribed, share out some links, and let's bring some new people in so I can get those subscriber numbers up. That's always the goal. And again, I just hope you get something of value out of this, because I enjoy bringing it to you. And I will be back again soon with some more stuff. And until next time, take care. As you can see, Aftershock is not the only one, because here's Will Robson, who has worked for Marvel and DC and lots of the bigger publishers, not some smaller one like Aftershock, but big publishers. And here's what he has to say, which I think is the most telling thing of all. Has it become industry standard to pay creators ridiculously late for their work? I've struggled all year with all the large companies I work for to get paid on the agreed time. I'm talking months late. It's sad how nervous I am to even talk about this publicly, in fear of being blacklisted for future work. Now, again, to take a pause here. How many times have we heard, well, there are no blacklisting comics. That's a conspiracy theory drawn up by a bunch of right-wing bigot trolls on the internet. And yet, here's this guy who's telling you that he's afraid to even be talking about this because he's afraid these companies will blacklist him from ever getting work again. See, once again, another lie that we were told for years. There is no blacklists. Well, obviously, there are. But I've heard so many horror stories from other freelance creators recently about fighting for their paycheck, and I need to vent all this out and hopefully raise some awareness to make serious change. Here's how it works. You're hired to write or draw a book. The deal usually is you have to complete 5 to 10 pages first, then you will receive a payment for that work a few weeks after completing it. This means that when you start a new project, it's not guaranteed when exactly you'll see your first payment, because depending on the difficulty of the work, team book, location, crowd scenes, etc., the length of time it takes to create enough pages of work is always fluid. Usually, if you're a pro, you can gamble that your first payment will be 4 to 5 weeks upon taking the work. So right there, he's telling you when you start out, you got to do work basically on credit. You got to do the work and then you get paid for it. And that can be at least a good 4 to 5 weeks before you see that first bit of money for those first 5 to 10 pages. So you're already looking at each project you take on as a month plus minimum expectancy of payment for half or a quarter of the issue you're working on. Now, this can be annoying, as if you're constantly hopping from title to title, these payments can stagger between each other, and you can find yourself in some financial jams. Gee, do you think? Because you're waiting for payment from one to go into working on the next, and you don't know when that payment's going to come in after that one, and yeah, that could be very hectic. But recently, I've had what I thought was a stroke of bad luck with getting paid on that agreed amount of time after finishing work. And I'm not talking a week late, I'm talking 5 to 10 weeks late. These delays have caused me and my family so much stress, it's unbelievable. I've dealt with delayed payments in the past working with smaller companies, but the bigger companies in the business are now delaying payments regularly, and I've really had enough. So you see, there it is. This is the proof in the pudding. You saw Aftershock, and you say, well, that's a small publisher, that's an indie guy. They're always having problems. Okay, maybe, although it's still not right, but okay, you could go with that. But now here he is telling you the big publishers: Marvel, DC, Dark Horse, Image. The big boys, the guys everyone goes to, the guys who feel they're the leaders of this industry. even they're now late. And again, like you said, not like by a week or something where there's some little cash flow crunch. Just say I had to, oh, I just got to wait an extra week. There was a slip up in accounting. We had to fix that. No, no, no. Weeks late, months late. And again, this is something we have talked about. We told them this was coming. Why are they not able to pay these people? What could possibly be the reason that these major companies who are owned by megacorps like Disney and Warner Discovery and all this kind of stuff, who own these companies, why is it they're unable to pay people? These are megacorps. They're the ones with all the money. They own all the properties, right? They own all the icons. They should be rolling in dough to pay these people out without a problem, right? Because after all, these are freelancers. They're working for peanuts. We all know that the industry's never treated freelancers fairly in the pay department. So here are people working for peanuts, and they're getting late payments for months late. So, what could be the problem? Well, we'll get into that in a little bit here. A project I've worked on recently still hasn't paid me. I was expecting payment for it in mid-November. Remember that 4 to 5 week window of expected first pay I talked about? That means I started the book in October. How do these companies expect me to pay my bills and afford the holidays? I've been constantly living in a state of survival mode all year with barely affording to get by due to these delays. Well, it's not just the delays, I'm sure, that's causing them so much pain and grief. I'm sure it's also the economy that we're in is another one. So, you can thank Joe Biden for that. And we got some stuff here from Marcus Killigrew. Merry Christmas, my friend. Yes, Merry Christmas indeed. He goes, all this makes me feel better that I'm in IT instead of my comic artist dream. Yes, it certainly does seem like that would be the way. Yes, it certainly does seem that would be the better dream to be having right now. Okay, so anyway, continuing on here. I just find it ridiculous that I'm a trained and skilled worker who works 10 to 15-hour shifts 5 to 7 days a week to hit these ridiculous industry standard deadlines, and that already take you away from having any sense of a normal family social life, to then have to worry about paying your bills or feeding your family. I mean, I get to draw these iconic characters owned by these large corporations who are making millions off of adapting freelancers like myself's art and creativity. But when you're drawing these characters and internally stressing over whether or not you can afford to buy your family Christmas presents this year due to payment delays, then enough is enough. I work hard. I hit my deadlines. Pay me. So, again, I can't fault him on anything he's saying. Everything he says is absolutely, completely factual. If the contracts that he signed to be a freelancer for these people, and it was all about, hey, you need to pay me within 4 to 5 weeks of those first 5 pages, pardon me, or whatever, and that's the standard, then the company is on the hook for this. They need to fulfill their end of the obligation, because as he's stating here, he's fulfilling his. He works hard, he hits the deadlines, he gets the work in, and he gets it done good. Pay him. But part of me is having a hard time feeling bad for him, because again, this is the same type of crew who has spent the last 5, 6, 7 years attacking their own reader base, calling them Nazis and bigots and white supremacists and all the dirty names in the book, telling them we don't want your money and all this other jazz. And now here they are crying we're not getting paid, and not paid by small publishers who are, often rife with problems, but the major publishers owned by megacorps aren't paying now. I just, so it's like a duality with me. Is I know he's right in what he says, and I want to support that, but at the same time, but you've also either have supported or have been silent when your fellow colleagues have attacked the very reader base that these companies rely on to pay those bills. Those bills, of course, being paying you as well. So in the end, you guys have driven away the money, and now you're complaining you're not getting any money. Let's think about that, shall we? As we continue on. And to clarify, I'm not talking about editors being the issue. My editors are wonderful and fight with me to get paid. But that itself is a bonkers thing to say, that an employee of a company fights with me to get paid by the same company that they work for. Please, if you're like me and have had these or having these issues with the comic industry and these large corporations, post your story below. I know I'm not the only one struggling. Let's make some real change. So here it is. Now he's putting out the clarion call. Others, I know you suffer with me. Let's all come together and expose this and vent our rage. But again, who are you venting the rage at? You're venting it at the publishers, right? And at the corporations that own them, sure, because they're the ones who sign your checks, as Ron Mars once told us all quite a while ago about, it's not us readers who sign his paychecks, it's the publishers. So, okay, that's fine, but where do they get their money? Where do they get their money from? See, again, this was always the case. We told them long ago. We told them, we begged them not to go down this road, and yet they did anyway. And here's IDW. This is one that umbrella guy, my good friend Tug, he spent like 2 years going over their numbers. And you can see from here, I set it at the 5-year mark. 5 years ago, IDW's stock price was at $46. It is now at 98 cents a share. It has lost almost 98% of its value within 5 years. The same 5 years that they spent attacking the comic book fan base, attacking the people who love the source material, destroying the characters that they love, telling them to F off, telling them that they're white supremacist Nazi bigots. Isn't it funny how that whole drop coincides with all of that? And this is probably how it would look for pretty much any publisher if you looked at it today. This is what it would be. This is how those numbers would look for, if you looked at Disney's numbers, for Marvel or for DC's. Marcus Killiger here. Diversity. Yes, that's it, Marcus. That's all it ever is. That's what it's all been about for the last several years. And this line right here shows you where that leads you, right down here. And again, we know this because IDW is one of the few companies who actually put their numbers out there. Tug, like I said, Tug did a great job when he was showing you, breaking these numbers down for you, in like 2019 and 2020. He was breaking these numbers down and showing you exactly how much they're losing and why and everything else. And this just everything right here, it tells you. I mean, it's a straight line right down to the grave. And this is why you're seeing comic creators not getting paid now. This is why they're waiting 2, 3, 4, 6, 8 months to get a payment, if they even get it at all. But of course, as always is, you can always rely on the comic book media to gaslight you. Here we are from June of this year. Everyone's favorite Whisper Network shill, Heidi McDonald, comes out and says, turns out comics are not dying. Don't believe the charlatan comment. And then she links to Comic-Con, with the famous numbers I've shown you many times when they try to show you, look at all the money comics are making. Comics are doing great. Yeah, if you're manga or if you're crowdfunding, sure, maybe they're doing great there. But if you're in the mainstream, well, as you just saw, not so much. That's the lie. That's the big lie that we've been told for years now. Comics are doing just fine. They're not dying. But turns out it's not just the companies and the creators who are suffering in all of this. The shill media like Heidi are too. So this may be a strange time to launch this, but the Beat needs your help. If you like the Beat, we need your support at Patreon. You might have seen whispers about comic publishers having payment issues. Well, that has affected the Beat as well. The shills are not getting paid anymore. They're not getting paid to write their fluff pieces about diversity and equity and inclusivity now. They're not getting the money from the companies now because the companies don't have it to give. And now they don't know what to do. This is hilarious. The whole rotten edifice is coming down around its own ears. I love it. Continuing. It's a rough time for advertising in general, and we're owed advertising money that we may never see. I remain optimistic, but have to be realistic. Yes. Translation: the companies owe us money for our fluffing jobs that we've been doing for the last few years, but they haven't paid us yet. I hope they do, but I don't think they're going to. Yes, I don't think they will either. The way numbers are working out for the publishers. I've tinkered with the rewards on our campaign, which have always been pretty casual, but watching the Twitter community at risk, I see that building new communities and adapting old ones is where it's at in 2023. So we're launching new levels that reflect that. Not going to lie, We are in a rough patch now. Current Patreon income pays for our infrastructure, servers, software, but just barely, and costs are rising. Well, you can thank Joe Biden and all those people that you probably voted for, Heidi. They're the ones that help put the economy in the state it's in, so congratulations. I hope it was worth it. I hope getting rid of Orange Man Bad and his mean tweets was worth it. Is it working out for you? Is you loving it now? Continuing. We are in the planning stages for Beat 5.0 to launch in 2023. But to do so, we need the support of the community of publishers and readers. Oh, readers? You mean like the ones that you've been spending years calling bigots? You know, the community of publishers? Oh, you mean like the ones that you and your secret Whisper Network buddies all went around trying to trash creators and ruin their careers? Those publishers, those readers, you expect them to bail you out? I mean, I got to give her the utter gall that she has to do this is hilarious. But again, it shows you how the self-reflection of these people is non-existent. Continuing, and hey, if you want to advertise, we have plenty of opportunity for that. Yeah, I bet you do. I bet you do. DM me. The Beat's audience and engagement is still as strong as ever. Oh, I guess there's a lot of box wine ants still reading the Beat, I guess. But to stay there, we need your support. If you have any questions or want to see more numbers, DM me. And thank you. I've been doing this for 20 years because I love being a part of this art form and community. And all Beat contributors feel the same way. Now, that's interesting. That last little bit. Take note of that last bit right there at the end with what I'm about to show you here, because this is hilarious. All Beat contributors feel the same way. Well, again, and this is all from just last month, November. Here we go. From just 2 years ago. Oh, as of now, I no longer work at Comics Beat. The hostile, negative, and outright abusive environment created by Heidi McDonald and her editorial staff made it impossible for me to do my job there. That's all I have to say on this matter. Oh my God! Yeah. I love being a part of this art form and community, and all the Beat contributors feel the same way. The hostile, negative, and outright abusive environment created by Heidi McDonald and her editorial staff made it impossible for me to do my job there. I mean, come on. How could you not laugh? How could you not laugh at this? I mean, you know, even Santa's laughing at this one. But there it is. All they've been doing these last several years is gaslighting you. Comics are doing fine. Oh, we love the art form. Everybody who works for us feels the same way. All in unison, saying the same things over and over and over. And if you didn't agree with it, you're a bigot. You're a hater. You're a troll. You're a white supremacist Nazi. That's what you heard. And here it is now. It's all coming out. It's all coming out because now the money is gone. The money is gone, and there's nothing left to hide it with. Here's a little something I found in an article where they were talking to CB Cebulski from Marvel, and I loved this. This was a great little bit. So for all you out there, like our good friend Marcus, who has dreams of being a comic creator, here's CB's little bit of tip of wisdom to you. You get out of comics what you put in. So never lose your passion. But remember, when you choose to work in comics, the job does not stop once you finish a script or draw a page. The hustle needs to continue, with writers and artists also serving as their own cheerleaders, PR people, social media managers, accountants, and more. Whoa. Wait a minute. Ron Mars told me that his business cards only read writer, not customer service, not media manager. What? How is that? No. How is that possible? You sound like Comicsgate, CB Cebulski. What is that? Have you gone Comicsgate all of a sudden? Oh my goodness. But again, this is what we told these creators for years. You guys got to stop acting like buffoons on the internet. You got to stop attacking the readers. You got to stop putting your politics into everything. You got to start thinking about how you're making yourself look bad to the very people who you rely on to buy the product. And they wouldn't listen. They told us, My job ain't customer service. You guys don't pay me. The publisher signs my checks. That's what we were told. And I hear CB Cebulski saying, yeah, it's not just writing and drawing the comics that you got to worry about today, creators. You also got to be kind of like in there promoting it, and you got to be out there in social media, and you got to make sure you're not, driving readers away, and you're bringing readers in. All the things we told him, and he wouldn't listen. Cebulski replied when asked for his advice to young creators. Don't quit your day job until you are financially sound as a freelancer. Just because you get your first assignment and paycheck does not mean you have a career in comics just yet. How ironic. Again, he's telling you don't quit your day job. If you're going to work in comics, make it your side job. Don't make it your career, because even when you get paid, well, you're not really a comic pro yet. And it's just, it's hilarious. And you can be financially sound as a freelancer. Well, as we've already seen, freelancers are not financially sound today. So all you guys, I guess we can't call them pros anymore. They're comic freelancers, is what we should call them, because that's all they are. They're just freelancers, because they're not pros. They're not getting paid for what they're doing. But again, it just shows you how all the gaslighting we've been given for the last several years, all these chickens are coming home to roost. And, I find it, it's very cathartic to me to know that I was right. And I'm sure it is for many of you who probably are watching this, who've said many of the same things. We all know we were right. But again, it's also kind of insulting that they spent all this time trying to get us to believe a lie that they themselves knew wasn't true.